Welcome to another episode of Stupid Guitar Tricks. I'm JR. It was too nice outside to be inside, so here we are, outside of our palatial estate in beautiful Olympia, Washington. Hey, today we're going to talk about determining your major key. Let's get started. Have you ever been jamming with a bunch of cats and all of a sudden they're playing something you don't know what they're playing? I mean, usually the first chord, in this instance a D, that usually means we're going to play a song in D, right? So D, C, and G. Well, wouldn't that be the key of D major? No, it wouldn't. And if you try and play a D major scale over it, you're going to find that out pretty fast. The way you determine what key you're in is pretty simple, really. There's a lot of telltale signs. But first you have to understand how the chords in a key are put together. So if we start off with the key of C, you have a C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, a B diminished, and a C. Alright, so if you know that, you can go through and you can listen to any of the chords in any song and you can determine what key you're actually playing and what your major key is. In our previous instance, we had a D, a C, and a G. Alright, we know it's not the key of D major because I already told you that. It's not the key of D major. One of the ways you can do it is you can look for the diminished chord. If there's a diminished chord, it's always a half step below the major chord. So you can hear how it kind of resolves there. It's always going to be a half step below your root in a major key. But we don't have a diminished chord in that progression. All right, so what was the other thing we noticed? Well, if there's two minor chords next to one another, then we could say, well, obviously those are the second and third chords of the scale, so it would be a C, but it's not. There's D major, C major, G major. There's no minor chords there. And as you recall, there were no minor chords in the progression we did. So you'd have to think about where there are some adjacent majors, because our progression has the D major, C major, G major. So we can say the C and the D are adjacent. They're next to one another in the scale. So where did that fall out? Well, remember we had a major, minor, minor, major, major. So, okay, it's the 4 and the 5. So then that would mean that our C chord must be the 4, the D must be the 5 of the scale. So our root could only be G. If you tried to play it just doesn't sound right over the D. But that's pretty simple. So if you have two adjacent minor chords, those are the second and third elements of your scale. So if you have an A minor and a B minor, it would still be your G major scale, because you'd start off with your 1, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, 6 minor, and then your 7, which is always diminished, and then back to your root. So there you go. It's pretty simple, really. If you can find your diminished chord, you know that it's the 7th element of the major scale. If you find your two adjacent major chords, you know that that's the 4th and the 5th element of your major scale. And if you find your two minor chords, you're going to know that's the 2 and the 3 of the major scale. There's exceptions that are going to throw you off because people can do all sorts of neat stuff with a secondary dominance and more advanced theory stuff like that. But this should get you going. So next time you want to play a lead, just remember that your lead's going to be off your major scale or the minor off of the 6th element of the scale. But that's another lesson. Make sure to check out our Facebook page, Stupid Guitar Tricks. You can go by the blog page and see the backup information. Usually there's tabs and some more information on the lesson we just provided. And let us know what you want to see in future episodes. See you on stage. Peace.